Starting your own practice is hard for many chiropractors. It's riddled with both struggles and successes. But here at the Chiropractic Philanthropist, we make it easy by having chiropreneurs and entrepreneurs share their struggles and lessons learned in life and business so that you don't have to make the same mistakes. And now here's your host, Dr. Ed Osborne.
All right, TCP listeners, I have an incredible guest today, and that is actually Dr. Kelly Henry. Doc, how you doing?
I am fantastic. Thanks for having me today.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited for this conversation today. I think that this is going to be of incredible value for our listeners. But for docs who don't know who you are, why don't we start with you and tell us a little bit about yourself? You know, you as a mentor and a coach in our profession today.
Well, first of all, I'm a husband of my wife of 22 years. I have 3 kids. Practiced for almost 20 years, and grew a practice up to where I was treating 400 plus patients a week and multiple clinics, multiple associates. So really enjoyed the profession. The profession was obviously good to me, and hopefully I did some good for the profession and for my patients. Recently sold my practice earlier this year. Having a higher volume practice was starting to take its toll on my body. Decided it was time to get out, but I still wanted to serve the profession. And how can I still serve the profession and serve patients? Well, I can help other docs grow their practices so they can serve more patients and start living the life of their dreams like I have.
And so for you, I mean, like, so I know some docs who once they kind of exit their practice, they're just like, hey, I'm not going to do anything for the next, 6 months, 12 months. But for you, it was like, as soon as you exited, you were like, no, I'm going to start helping other doctors right away. What was the pull for you to like want to coach other doctors or chiropreneurs?
I have adult ADD apparently, so I cannot sit around. I didn't sell my practice to retire. I sold it to change gears and to start a new career. And so, yeah, it was great that I sold it, but I still wanted to give back, and I wanted to do it immediately. So I didn't want any downtime. And I worked very hard and developed a system to grow my practice. So I want to do the same thing with other docs. I want to grow what I'm doing as far as my consulting practice, but I know I can help even that many more patients and people through working with these docs to help grow their practices. So.
And, from the conversations we've had together, not like aside from this recording, this interview is like it's very heart-centered for you. And that's what I've picked up, basically in our conversations, that you truly just want to help. And I think as chiropractors or as just doctors, are alone, part of our core is we want to help other people, including other doctors help more people. So
I got back on here. We had a little Wi-Fi issue. Sorry about that, Doc.
Oh, that's okay. No, actually on my end, I think I'm recording just fine. So we didn't lose you. So here's what I would like to ask then is basically, we love to talk about quotes, affirmations, positive words. Do you have any quotes or affirmations, words of wisdom you'd like to drop on docs?
Absolutely. One of my favorite quotes is, the measure of a man's greatness is not the number of servants he has, but the number of people he serves. And I really have taken that to my home. Throughout my life. I think I lost you again there with the Wi-Fi. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Don't worry. Okay. We'll just keep going.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Just so everyone who's a listener right now, so with TCP, they may be used to this, is that, podcasting, well, most of the listeners are pretty forgiving when we have Wi-Fi issues, or, they're hammering on a condo next door. to my office right now. So so long as they get the value, I think they're okay.
All right.
So thank you for those words. And, you know, the other part of this conversation, Doc, is we love to talk about, well, not love, but we share because it helps us connect with each other. And, you know, as our theme, our saying is that we are all more alike than we are different as chiropractors. That one thing that we have in common is struggle. So was there ever a time that you experienced struggle, resistance, what you learned from that experience, and how now you apply it to your life and business today?
Absolutely. Going back to word of affirmation, I just want to touch on that just for a sec. As far as the quote and serving, ultimately that's what chiropractors do. And again, I took that to heart, and really that's the framework of not only when I was in practice, but certainly what I do now. As far as struggle, yeah, my first year in practice was a complete disaster. Went from school to start my own practice in the Phoenix area with, you know, however many other chiropractors, and it was very difficult. It was difficult professionally. It was difficult personally on the family, but fortunately, I had some good mentors at that time, and so I learned a lot from them. So as I left Phoenix and bought a practice in New Mexico, it gave me the foundation to start my successful journey. The other thing that happened was it allows me to appreciate what I have now because of the struggles I went through. So I'm thankful for the success I've achieved. And I wouldn't give up what I had to go through just because it's made me what I am today. But again, I appreciate a lot more what I have today because of the struggle, because of the hardship, because of the process that I had to go through when I first started practice.
And I mean, that's kind of led you to where you are. Again, like you wouldn't be the man that you are today, nor the chiropreneur, or the entrepreneur that you are today, had you not experienced the resistance. I think a lot of us, a lot of us as doctors, as men, as, you know, or women who are entrepreneurs, I think sometimes we get so caught up in the resistance, we forget that, you know, there's something on the other side. There's a gift in this for us. What would you, you know, like, what would you say makes your like your coaching systems or your coaching experience? What does it make it different than, say, anyone else who's out there doing chiropractic coaching right now for docs?
Well, I just want to put out there, through the 20 years of my practice, I worked with 3 different management coaching groups. So I've been through the years with them too. It's fantastic. And I developed my system, gleaning information and processes through those coaches. What sets me apart is mine is developed or based on basically 3 pillars. We need to get our mindsets correct, a positive mindset, because it filters into everything in life. So we need to set that correctly. Then we need to work on procedural correctness in our office. And then we need to work on marketing correctness. There's so many docs, and I've talked to so many docs, that they're so focused on the marketing aspect that, yeah, they can market and get a lot of new patients in the front door, but they have no procedures set up to keep those patients, and they're going right out the back door. Their mindset is negative and working against them. So I found through the years that keeping the positive mindset, having the proper procedures, doing the right marketing, just creates a vacuum of growth in your practice. And obviously that's what I have to offer my clients is those 3 pillars.
Beautiful. I mean, I'm one of the things I'm pulling from this conversation too is the positive mindset. Do you find like a lot of doctors, like when you first meet them, or, you know, you have any sort of first contact or experience with them, that they're kind of in a place of where like they're just negative? So you have to really kind of work with them in terms of like shifting them to the positive mindset first before you start working with them on procedures and marketing and all those other aspects.
Absolutely. And being in business is difficult. And so I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not blaming these docs for a negative mindset. It's tough. There's ups and downs, and it gets frustrating at times. But if your mindset is not positive and on the serving aspect of chiropractic, then you're working against yourself. When you're blaming the patients, you're blaming the weather, you're blaming your staff, you're blaming this, that, here and there. You're repelling patients, you're repelling the growth that you should be having in your practice. So first and foremost, you've got to set that positive mindset, that success mindset that, as my coaching is relentless, you've got to be relentless in your pursuit of that success. And when you're positive, it just lays the foundation for you to hit the obstacle, to find a way around it, over it, through it, and just keep moving forward to achieve your goals and ultimately what you want to have in your practice and really ultimately what you want for your dreams.
So, I think that's a perfect segue right into, how doctors can connect with you. And so I'm going to make sure I get this right. So it's Relentless, relentlesscoachingsystems.com, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, perfect.
You bet.
So actually, so listeners, you can head over to relentlesscoachingsystems.com. I almost messed that up. And basically there's a form right on the first page where you can actually connect with Dr. Kelly Henry, but you can also set up a discovery call. So you can do a 30-minute consultation discovery call with him. And there's no charge for that. Dr. Kelly Henry is basically doing that from a place of again, being heart-centered. So I want to thank you for that as well. Listeners, if you're on your mobile, what you can do is actually open your show notes. When you I'm laughing because there's someone hammering next door right now. If you open up your show notes, there will be a link where you can actually head right to that page right now. If you go to our website, which is thechiropracticphilanthropist.com, we'll have a web page dedicated to our discussion with Dr. Kelly Henry today. And you can link and connect right from there. I'm going to encourage everyone to take him up on his generous offer. And here's why. I have never, ever experienced success without mentorship. Like, if I'm literally on the phone, like everyone, this is for listeners. I'm serious about this. I mean, and we've talked about this in over 300 episodes of Chiropractic Philanthropist. Is like, do not do this in isolation. You cannot be successful in isolation. When someone is giving you a hand, it's not a hand out, it's a hand up. So I'm going to encourage everyone to take him up on his generous offer. Okay, so that transitions us into the TCP time machine. Are you ready, Doc?
Absolutely. Let's go for it.
Here we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to put you into the TCP time machine. We're going to send you back to a younger version of yourself. Now, this is right after you came out of the chiropractic college. You have all the current knowledge and experience that you have today. What would you say to that younger self?
Basically, what you just said is get with a coach, get with a mentor immediately. Don't waste time in isolation. Don't waste time thinking you know what you need to do. Find somebody who's successful, mentor up with them, save yourself frustration and time, and start the foundation of success immediately.
Yeah, beautiful. I mean, again, I can't tell, like, it's not a secret. Success is not a secret.
It's not.
It's not. You just have
to leaves tracks.
It does. Who was it? I was at a inner circle meeting, with Russell Brunson and his group, and one of the people there, he's so young too. I think he's in his late 20s, and they're doing incredible things online, helping so many people. I think they have 50,000 women in their membership. They're doing, I think $3 or $4 million a month in their business. And he talks about, basically, it's like, your mentor is basically trudging through the snow ahead of you, and you should be putting your feet in their footsteps so that you can actually continue, forward, and it's an easier path. So I'm very big on mentorship. I'm even looking for another mentor for business mentorship right now.
That's a great analogy. I didn't use that one, the trudging through the snow ahead of you. So that's great.
I know, isn't it? He called it the Eskimo method. However, I don't know how PC that is anymore. So The last part of our podcast interviews, we always ask for a resource. Now, here's what it can be. It could be something you're listening to. So it could be a book on Audible. It could be a book you're reading. It could be a podcast. It could be an app, anything at all that you think that doctors should go and definitely check out.
Well, two things. Obviously, your podcast, Dr. Ed.
Oh, thank you.
Chiropractic Philanthropist is awesome. So you'll need to subscribe to that. The second thing is a book, and I read a lot. I've actually read almost 50 books this year already, so I'm voracious in my reading. But there's one book in particular. It's Grant Cardone. His book, Be Obsessed or Be Average. It is a great motivational book. I think every chiropractor should read it. So, obsession can be somewhat of a negative, and he explains that it's not necessarily negative. It is a positive, and the only way you're going to be successful is if you're obsessed with your success, get after it, or you're just going to fall into the life of average, and we don't want that. No chiropractor should be average. We should also be obsessed with our success and go forward with serving our patients and our communities. And so it's a great book, so I highly recommend it.
I'm just trying to go through, avoid the hammering and drilling next door right now.
Okay.
But so my mic is going on and off. So here's the thing is like, I love that word obsessed. I mean, people like myself, people like you, I mean, we're obsessed with helping other people get results. I'm obsessed with doing, 3 hours of podcast interviews today, like, and getting more value and content out to others. So I love that word. And I think, all doctors, who are listening today, it's like, that's the question. Are you obsessed? Are you obsessed with getting results inside of what you want in your life and business? So that's awesome advice. Thank you for that. So here's what we're going to do. I'm just going to throw down the website one more time. It's thechiropracticphilanthropist.com. So listeners, you can go there and over 300 interviews with successful doctors. We've reached the 300 limit on iTunes. So if you're listening on iTunes, you're not going to see all of our episodes moving forward. So you can head over to thechiropracticphilanthropist.com and catch all the episodes there. Doc, I want to thank you for being on the show today and actually, again, giving back to our profession. Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Well, I appreciate you, Dr. Ed, and thank you for having me on your podcast today. I really appreciate it.
So you've heard the struggles, you've heard the successes, and this episode is done. But there's still so much more to come and so much more to learn. Head on over to thechiropracticphilanthropist.com and sign up for our newsletter, where you'll receive free practice building tips and strategies, including how to market your practice with your very own podcast and so much more. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on The Chiropractic Philanthropist.